Mr. Speaker, the Premier agreed to a collective agreement with New Brunswick school bus drivers and custodians that would see competing pension proposals be referred to a panel of actuaries if the parties could not come to a negotiated agreement. The actuaries would decide which pension proposal carried the lowest cost in terms of risk and uncertainty. And the Premier, the school bus drivers and custodians, through their union locals, agreed their decision would be final and binding on them. That is where the pension dispute was headed, until the Premier abandoned the agreed-upon decision-making process and decided to legislate his personal choice of pension. He broke the contract with the school bus drivers and custodians, and he broke his word. Why did the Premier break a negotiated agreement and go back on his word? Is it just because he feared his pension choice might be rejected by the panel of actuaries?
The Honourable Premier.
Mr. Speaker, I guess the Leader of the Green Party may be half right. So the process in the sense of the actuaries being involved in the process to define it and decide on the pension plan going forward and what was sustainable and equitable for taxpayers and employees, that was indeed the plan in the MOA. That's true. The issue was there was no end in sight, Mr. Speaker, because the time had run out on the MOA. So what the bill that has been put forward, what it actually does, Mr. Speaker, is put the timelines in place to do the very same thing, only put a timeline in place to get it done. Because what we saw, Mr. Speaker, was a continual procrastination, basically driven by the National Union, Mr. Speaker, not the employees of the province, but the National Union, because they just don't want to talk about it. They would just assume the liabilities fall continually on the taxpayers of this province. 65% or so who wouldn't have a pension plan, Mr. Speaker. So the point is, this process that we're putting forward is simply reinforcing the very process we had agreed to in the MOA with a timeline attached.
Thank you. Member for Fredericton-South and Leader of Party.
Mr. Speaker, not only is the Premier breaking the agreement on binding arbitration with the school bus drivers and custodians and forcing his choice of pensions down their throat through the force of law, he launched a surprise attack on the pensions of nursing home workers with Bill 17, which will repeal the Nursing Homes Pension Plans Act and its regulations if adopted. Mr. Speaker, nursing homes are plagued by a huge shortage of staff. I can't imagine what kind of recruitment and retention strategy this is. The Premier surely understands that he can only exercise his authority if he has the confidence of his entire caucus. Why has the Premier decided that the only way to govern is by the way of the autocrat?
The Honourable Premier.
So, Mr. Speaker, I appreciate the sound bites that the Leader of the Green Party wants to continue to put out there, but there is not a collective agreement that's broken here, Mr. Speaker. It's a commitment, a mutually agreed commitment to have something accomplished within a specified timeline. So, Mr. Speaker, that didn't happen. And the process we put in place right now is going to ensure that it does happen. That's the part I just answered a minute ago. So, Mr. Speaker, this idea of having the actuarials look at both plans and say, what can we do here? Look at all 5 plans. And as far as the nursing home workers, to give them a secure pension plan, Mr. Speaker. No matter what hours they work, they can participate in the pension program, Mr. Speaker, unlike the current plans. So, Mr. Speaker, we have a plan here that actually has proven its reliability and its effectiveness, unlike the discussions that went on 10 years ago. So the point today is, Mr. Speaker, just look around at the benefits that we can provide, fairness to taxpayers, fairness to the employees, and the security of a pension plan that's there when you need it, and government can't mess with it, Mr. Speaker.